Bloomberg has learned we may see an end to the Google-China showdown in just a few hours' time. Will Google really pull the plug? And if so, what is next for the internet giant? Plus, what's next for China? We're joined by Mabry, international business editor at the New York Times this morning. Marcus, let's start with this question. We don't yet know what Google is going to do. We're getting signals from our colleagues at Bloomberg over in China that an announcement may come in the next several hours. Based on what you know about Google's concerns, what do you think they're most likely to do? Is it just a case of shutting down Google.cn, the Chinese website, or are they going to include, is it going to be a total withdrawal? Android, handsets, the whole deal?
I would suspect right now we're talking just Google China, Google.cn, the search engine that Google developed in China specifically. I'd be really surprised if it were larger than that, if it were all of Google's operations, all of Google's future aspirations in China and around the rest of the world, especially technologically, like Android, like, putting all of us in the cloud, and operating from the cloud computing world. So I'd be really shocked at that. I must say I'm a little surprised it's already come to this. We don't know yet. It's a little bit about election night and the presidential election here, waiting for the results to come in. Google could surprise all of us and say, oh, we're not pulling out, or we're pulling out totally. We didn't expect it even to come to this. We thought this was negotiations, happening between these two giants, Google and China. And in fact, it's come to this, it seems, and that's a surprise.
From what we gather, the Chinese have taken a very firm line on the issue. If Google actually does go ahead and do what you expect, which is to say shut down Google.cn, is the company making a mistake?
It's hard to say. Certainly from a future revenue point of view, if one looks at it that way, China is the largest internet market in the world, largest computer market in the world. To not be there, seems strange for Google, which is such a huge global company, and China is the biggest market and the biggest, fastest growing market. So it's kind of hard to imagine from a revenue point it's a good thing. However, at the same time, as you guys were saying earlier, they can really get a very positive brand hit from this. Many people will say that Western companies for far too long, especially technological companies, have spent far too long kowtowing to China and agreeing to their censorship rules.
Okay, that brings up an important question, though, because it does seem as though Google has not received much support from corporate America vis-a-vis its stance concerning China. Are you surprised at that?
No, I'm not surprised by it. And because on the flip side of it, you can imagine how many companies, if Google does do this, how many other companies will we hear shareholders, we hear human rights groups saying, you know what, you too should have some sense of Western morals and values and ethics and conduct in your doing business with China, not just going for the bottom line. That would really kind of throw a wrench into the plans of all kinds of American and Western companies, throughout the world.
All right. Can Google ever go back, do you think? If they
absolutely.
They can.
Nothing is forever. And China is a rapidly changing society. We talk a lot about China kind of as this huge market, and it is, but it's not a unified market. It's a country actually that has great tensions. That itself is changing. I think the new China, the different China, the future China may well welcome Google back.
And inevitably, these two players are going to collide again at some point, right? China has big ambitions. Google has big ambitions. It may seem like a big world, but on that level, it's kind of small.
That's exactly right. The world is not big enough for these two to avoid each other forever.